Okay, so that's started streaming. Sick. Cool. Make sure volume's working on this down here. Get everything moving correctly. It's been a minute. Cool. I can hear myself on my stream down here. Sick. Mr. Plane Spotting. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Let's see. I know they had changed the thing, which we figured out last time. So this should more or less be me looking at the screen here. I'll check my stream. Okay, so it's kind of left side. But okay, whatever. Sick. We're going. We're doing the thing. Let's see, that is our arrival. Look at that. Freaking high airport up here. 1,184 feet. That's distances on this one. A long ass air. 10,184. Okay, blah blah blah. Here. We're not leaving from a gate. We're leaving from a ramp. We're going to set a midpoint somewhere. We're going to be starting out dark just because of the nature of, you know, where we're at. And time zones and all. So we need to find somewhere landable. Maybe down here? Sure, that works. A little bitty fella, look at this. Okay. Sure, we'll add that as a stop. And we'll need to be extending fuel range and stuff too. Yeah, we're stopping at base of Everest, depending on how long it takes for us to get there. We may do an Everest attempt today or the next one. And that just kind of depends on what. So last time we did the Black Hawk and we did the 125. So we can't use either one of those. And then we also did our thumbnail with the 135. I quite like the 206. We haven't done the 206 in a minute. I still don't know everything I want to know about the 315. We'll do that eventually, but I want to put more time in my own time with that, just to learn it and learn systems and failures and such. I'm thinking 206, which the fly inside one, it works, but it's also broken at the same time. S76 doable, which that would put some speed on us. 206 L3 is kind of what I'm thinking right now. Oh, we didn't do the Black Hawk, we did the 225 and the 125 last time. That's what we did. So we could do a Hawk, but I feel like we did a Hawk kind of recently. So yeah, why don't we just start with the 206? We'll do the first leg. It's a comfortable ship to go mid-distance legs. So we'll do that. like red. Oh, and it's a care flight. Cool. Ooh. Like Quaker State colors. I kind of like that. Fuel. Yeah, we're topping up. We don't care. We got plenty of room. Saving back. Sick. Saving back. Plenty of range to make our full destination. Yeah, I think we may do an Everest attempt tonight. Because my full range gets me there. I don't know. We'll see how many people are on. We'll judge it. That is something we will talk about and consider as we go. And I feel like morning air would probably be the best air to do it in as well. So, let's see. What's blinking? Oh, it's you. And I did try to touch on all of my sound levels and stuff before we started. But if anything's off, please let me know. It's just a 2D image up there. Although you can see engine underneath that flap. That's funny. A lot of room in the back of the L's. Shift C. Let's hop in here. Get facing forward at least. Battery on. I'll make sure my throttle all the way down. Governor on. Horn mute. Hit that bad boy. I want my position lights, anti-collision lights on. Generator starter is set to start. The dogs are barking. Get a little bit taller. Fuel valve is on. Starter's there. I don't remember my starter button works on this one. But what we'll do, click and hold. Blades are moving. Okay, it released the starter for me. Got a handful of seconds we could be in the red there. We're good. Waiting for our levels here to get up in the 50s or the 60s percentage, something like that. Then we can flick the generator on with that avionics, pitot heat, position lights. All of that can come on. It looks like it went in and took itself up to governor side. Whatever. I'm cool. Let it do its thing. It's not perfect. Let our Garmins get moving. And we'll pretty much be ready to go. It's kind of nasty, so I'm also glad we're in here because we do have synthetic vision. So that's going to be a benefit to us. It looks like we're going to be relatively low level, not worrying about mountains until we get to our first checkpoint. Then we'll have to probably cut low around here to get in, which we'll deal with that when we get there. Because I believe there are some 18,000 plus peaks here. I believe Everest is in, yeah, 90% sure that's Everest there. So there's a lot of big peaks around this area. But we should be pretty low level coming out of this, just following the river down. Get that there. What I do want to do direct to there. 173 nautical miles, so hour and a half. 2 hours ish. Okay, so all that's moving, waiting for signal. Take another little hit of my go-go powder, which is not illegal YouTube, it's Zip Fizz. Okay, let's see. Guwahati Tower. Helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. At the west ramp, looking to pick up and depart directly to the west. Oh my goodness, I'm cleared to go. Thank you guys. Is there any way for me to get rid of this spotlight up front? I do not want that. I'm okay with my landing lights there. Okay, so only if I mess with that there. Which I'm going to leave this as a off because I'd rather not have that. Look at this wicked pollution out here. I'm just going to say it's pollution. It might not be. Boys, we may have a reset on our hands today if the weather keeps this up. Goodness. I wonder what the breakout is. We got about a mile's worth of visibility, so it's not bad. Direction one ahead is 284, and we're about there, so fingers crossed, guys. It is a nasty one this morning. But GPS, I hope you're doing good. Just thinking about you the other day, because I still owe you an in real life helicopter ride. Just work is slow, and I can't make myself come off of $500 worth of flying right now, so it's gotta wait. Oh, also, I was going to message, woo-wee, there is nothing here. I was going to message Epic Aviation and let him know that I was going to be streaming, but whatever. Goodness. I mean, I hope you can wait. There's really no other option. Okay, what do you think? Do you think I should climb out of this or continue fighting The overwhelming feeling of death that is. Oh no, I can see stars up above us. So I'm going to climb out. I will be above the fog. I didn't know what our breakout altitude would have been. But I mean, we're here at 500 foot above the ground. I can see stars through the top of it, so we're going to chase out. I see your Birmingham message. I will check in a second once I'm somewhere with a bit more visual reference. Oh, you were checking out Birmingham Airport yesterday. 2 747 flights. Nice. Birmingham was kind of cool. Like, I drove through there the other week, and it was a lot different than I expected Birmingham to be. I guess I just didn't think that much of the Appalachian mountain chain making its way that middle-ish of Alabama, but it surely does. Yeah, climbing out, I'm already feeling so much better than I was down there. And we get to see the sunrise up here. Facing the wrong way, but we get to see the sunrise. 2,000 feet starting to break out. We'll start getting back more on course. We're about 20 degrees off to the right now. But I was staying over the lights that I could see. Just helping myself out visually. Because there is all... This river looks like it's a very... seasonal river, I guess would be the word for it. Could you read a MEDAR? I didn't even read the MEDAR for here. It was just like one of those things where it's... I had time to fly tonight, so I'm going to fly tonight. And like, to be fair, like, I have time to fly other nights, but busy days and stuff like that, you kind of just don't want to be in the virtual world. But, you know, it's all a part of it. I knew going into starting a series called Flying a Helicopter Around the World, it was not going to be something that I wanted to show up for every day, and that has definitely been evident the past few months. There is a possible snow across the southeast next Saturday. As long as that chance stays low, that'll be where I get to Birmingham. Geez, that'd be 3 weekends in a row. What was it? It was last weekend, the 18th, that I had snow with Dino and everything, so. And honestly, it looks like I don't think there's anywhere that's reporting weather between this airport and where we're going. So I think maybe like the general weather of this region is saying that it's clear, but the airport's METARs are giving off a not clear report. So I'm thinking that it's very possible this is like very, very region specific. Because, I mean, it looks like it's almost like a big circle around where this airport was that the weather was reporting this, or portraying this as far as the sim's concerned. But I can even make out the river on the ground up here, and we're not looking that huge of a reflection, so. Yeah, dude, the low temperature's been wild so far. I don't mind it, you know, like, I have warm weather or cold weather gear to wear that keeps me warm. I prefer warmer weather. I'd rather sweat it out and sit outside on a, you know, a 90-degree day than sit outside on a 30-degree day. And I enjoy being outside. That's kind of the thing for me. Oh yeah, this is definitely a seasonal river. Look how wide this is right here. And I don't think it's dammed or anything. I think it's just, this is what it is. How visible is this to you, all of the stuff in here? Also, I like that I can use my hand now and you can see me in the top corner of the screen, like pointing at stuff. Like, how visible is all the river and stuff down there? I know it does pretty good rendering out for me in the headset. But I don't know what it's like for you, so if it ends up where you really can't see what I'm looking at right now, then I'll try to head over to the lights over here just to have something below for reference. Not getting what, 32 degrees. BRB, okay. I'll be here doing this. Definitely getting brighter out. I mean, usually I say the European mind can't comprehend different things about the US, but I mean, this is so much more massive than anything in Europe, really. And we're over in the Nepal, India area. And there's no way they can... Like, this is bigger than some countries out there, funny enough. Extra people in here. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Got started early tonight and got started early in the day for where our location is on the Earth. So, the sun is just coming up behind us. And the Himalayas are starting to become visible out to the right. Also, V&E is really low. I thought the V&E in this thing was much higher. Do we have an outside air temperature bug anywhere on here? 17C. Okay, so it's not cold. The air is a bit thicker than usual than what I'm used to flying, so I'll let that be. Definitely nicer with lights and stuff becoming visible underneath of us up here. Yeah, if y'all go back 10 minutes or so in stream when we were taking off, it was not flying conditions. That's for sure. It was below MVFR. It was pure IFR conditions that we left in. I'd say like 3/4 of a mile of visibility, if that. Back with food. Nice. Yeah, we cooked a whole bunch of stuff in preparation for this weekend. So we had chili and barbecue and a whole bunch of stuff that could just be warmed up. We have a propane instead of electric oven and stuff, so it's a whole bunch of stuff that could be warmed up with non-microwaved heat. We do have a generator, but it doesn't run the microwave very well. And if it was as bad as they were saying it was going to be, which is what Nashville looks like, apparently, and then we wanted to be as prepared as we could possibly have been within reason. You know, like, it's one of those things, like, you can always prepare more. Like, we filled our generator up. We had 5 gallons of extra gas, which is 24-ish hours of run time. Same thing for my grandmother, who's on property. We had her generator topped off, extra 5 gallons of gas. About the same for her, but she doesn't run much. We put a heavier load on ours. And we had a few meals pre-cooked. I made 2 spray bottles full of salt water to unfreeze my Forerunner's door if I needed to, in case I needed to go drive somewhere, to go do something, to get somebody somewhere. I wanted to be able to unfreeze the door to get into it. Would you have lost power? Yeah, we lost it. And without giving too many details, I had gone to the bathroom after all day of being like, man, nothing's happening, and it's just raining right now. Went to the bathroom to do a number 2, and within maybe an inch or 2 inches of progress, which mine are quick anyways, I eat good. Anyway, about 2 inches of progress in starting my number 2, and the power went out, and I could only laugh. It had all day to go out on me, but it waited until I started pooping. So that that was funny. Luckily, we had battery-powered lamps and stuff already set up in bathrooms and places where we might not have our phone. But yeah, so that made me laugh. That was funny. So we did lose power, and it was out from 1 o'clock until 5:30 or 6 or something like that. Not horrible. But we did crank the generator up and run it because we had dishwasher and laundry going and everything, and we just wanted to be able to get those processes finished and not let them sit with whatever was already on them. But yeah, and then that was it. That was the only bad bit that came from the storm. Of course, Nashville got it bad. I feel bad for the people that did get it bad, but the closer we got to, I don't want to say the reckoning time of the storm happening, the closer we got, the more it looked like we weren't going to get much down here. Yeah, I got the storm worse. People in Nashville don't have power right now, and their house is 48 degrees, but I got it worse because I was pooping. But yeah, like, I was kind of putting off all my prepping until a later time, because it's, when you live in an area for long enough, you know how unpredictable the weather is, but you also know how predictable it can be. Just like I know weather's pretty unpredictable here in Georgia a lot of times, but I also know what's common, and it was looking more and more like it wasn't going to be that big of an issue for us. So yeah, I said, cool, just 5 gallons each. That will keep both houses going for 24 hours. Well, really 10 gallons total. But big mountains over there to the north. Yeah, I said, okay, cool, that should be enough. We got to enjoy a nice little home time. We didn't have anything planned. We decided not to go do anything, just out of the abundance of caution. We had extra food. We didn't overstock food. So many people want to go to the store and they buy 10 packs of paper towels, 10 packs of toilet paper, a million bottles of water, a whole bunch of bread, and all this other stuff. And it's one of the most puzzling things to me. Why? Just like when COVID was happening, like, is something going to be going on during all of this where you're going to be pooping more than normal? Are you going to be making more messes than normal? Are you going to be drinking more than normal? Guess what? You can still go to the store, at least during COVID. But like during this ice and stuff, it's like, okay, cool. Like, you're not going to be down for a week. We're in rural Georgia, quotation marks. But it's not like we're somewhere where you can't get to places. And even if the street that you're on survives, the street over from you is really, really bad off. Most people in Georgia are good enough neighbors to where you can, rely on your friends and neighbors and stuff to probably have the road cleared off to where you can get out before the city or state gets over to do it. It's just kind of what it is here. The worst we had was some quick wind. The wind lasted for about a minute. Yeah, we had some pretty strong wind during the big rain yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, today's Monday, so yesterday. But that was it. Nothing crazy. Honestly, the rumbling that you said that you were having from y'all's wind sounds more intense than what we had here, because we just had rain with a short power outage. But yeah, like, I don't understand the hoarding all of these things. Like, unless these people go to the store and they buy one roll of toilet paper at a time, or they only buy a week's worth of toilet paper instead of just buying, like a 30 pack. Like, I know money can be hard for some people, so it might not be able for them, it might not be possible for them to go from spending $10 for a pack of 6 up to $20 for a pack of 20. Maybe they can't do that. And okay, cool, I get it. But I feel like if you work hard enough, you can, and not even work hard enough, just like pay a little bit of attention, you can have a stockpile of toilet paper. If that's what you're going to worry about. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need a month's worth. If you live deep in the mountains, and it's somewhere where if you don't call anybody, nobody's going to know you're alive, then yeah, maybe. Sure. I could see that. There are places in North Carolina that took months to get power back just because of how remote they were. I understand. But where we live, that shouldn't be a thing. Looks like an Atlanta Braves A on the mountain over there. Am I going to go look at it? No. But that's kind of what it looks like. What made the rumbling eerie was it was only audible when it was the only sound. Weird. Which, like when I first read it and then you said it went on for hours. Yeah, that's crazy. When I first read it, I was thinking like, oh, that sounds like the meteor that I heard the other month. which, love my dad, but he's not good at recognizing when I'm recording something and I want it to be more in the video versus us prompting or whatever. It's like there's a video on my Instagram of me and Dino up at the airport watching the Cobra or the Huey or something hover around. And like we always try to get Dino hyped up. It's like, Dino, look, helicopter. Dino, look, whenever it flies over and stuff. So he's so familiar with the word. But like I wanted like a nice quiet video of Dino looking at the helicopter, looking at us, like doing his own thing, acting as the dog acts. But then of course you can hear my dad going, Dino, helicopter, Dino, helicopter. I'm like, okay, cool. It takes away from what I wanted the video to be, but I'm still thankful for the video either way. But he did that as well during the meteor, because the first 2 minutes of it, I was just awestruck. Couldn't see it, but it was just this rumbling, and I was just sitting outside, like trying to absorb the sound and process it, figure out what it was, etc. You know, it was a very crazy sound. Told him to come outside. We were both listening to it, trying to figure it out. I was like, okay, cool, let me film this real quick. So I started filming, and like it was a short video, like 6-7 seconds, but I happened to film it just to the last few seconds of this sound existing. And it went from being prominent to barely being able to hear it to going away over the course of maybe 10 seconds. Anyway, 4 or 5 seconds in the video, when it started barely being able to be audible, he goes, oh man, it's just about gone now. So then I lose 4 seconds of a very rare 10 seconds worth of audio that I was getting in the video. But I know that's also just a part of I don't want to be like, oh, it's part of their age, but it's like, you know, that I've grown up in a way to where I'm very conscious of and used to people taking pictures, and especially with cell phones being so prevalent, videos of different things. So I'm very used to seeing it and shutting up because I'm trying to be very conscious of that. And I just don't think, I mean, he existed 50, 60 years before video cameras in your pocket were common. So, whatever, I'm not mad about it. When it first started, you thought, yeah, like the way I've described it, I'm sure the way anybody's described, like hearing meteor sound. I don't know if you've heard one before. I've heard 2 in my life. One was a meteor shower when I was a kid. We were all laying out on the back porch here. And, very bright one, but I think it was more direct into the atmosphere, so it didn't last long. It more of a and then it was gone. But the one from 6 months ago or whatever, it was a good like 3 minutes of rumbling. It was insane. I need to look that up and see if they had an estimate on how big they think the actual rock was. I want to say part of it actually fell through a house down near me. I say down near me, well, compared to you, it's up near me. Also, 7 other people in here. What's up, guys? But I want to say the meteor was going north to south. Or either way, it was like the Carolinas and Georgia. So it was kind of in the northeast area. So there was a rock that went through a roof or something down here in like Locust Grove or McDonough or something near where I live. Near as in within like 20 miles of where I live, which is still wild. But in late 2023, so brighter than normal one. Yeah, sometimes you just get one that's of a size that makes that much of a difference. Usually the ones that I do see are pretty small. I'm sure, I'm sure that I see a lot more than what I think I see. And when I say that is, I'm outside at night a pretty good bit with work, with driving, and just with me being who I am. I enjoy being outside. Okay, BRB, see ya. I enjoy being outside. So I'm sure there are a lot of meteors that happen in my field of view, but the light from them is probably so small that it's not something that I pick up on and that I register. Especially if I'm looking at bright lights, so it's in my field of view. Should I see it? Yes. Do I consciously acknowledge the fact that a meteor just went by? Probably not. I see a good bit when I'm driving, weirdly enough. And of course, I'm sure that I see a whole bunch when I'm driving. But I don't really pick up on them a lot because obviously lights in your face or whatever, and I do a lot of long interstate stretches when I do drive. So I probably miss out on a lot that way. But I feel like I've seen more than your average person when driving and seeing like a big street going more or less parallel to the interstate. I really don't see them going perpendicular for whatever reason. Or maybe if I do, I just assume it's a reflection of a car passing and bouncing off of something else. And either way, welcome back again. I assume you were throwing away your trash and cleaning or putting away your dishes. The Himalayas are starting to become much more visible now. We need to alter course a little bit to the left. Thing is, there's really no point to like look at. And I'm not trying to fly by instruments here. I'm trying to enjoy this new crazy land called the Himalayan area. But yeah, so like I feel like I've seen a lot of meteors. I've seen a good bit through night vision goggles as well. So those are always neat because you have a very, very small field of view with night vision goggles. And most people think like, okay, cool, you put them on and you can see everything. But really, I mean, you got like this circle right here. When you have duals, you still have that circle, but then you also have that circle right here. So your field of view is not any wider, but you do have full depth perception. But also when you run a single tube night vision, you still have depth perception because your other eye continues to work, and that other eye is continuously exposed to the dark. Your natural night vision does build up in it. You can pick up on stuff, and you can still see in dark just as well. The only time you really get like full with night vision is either with the quad tubes, like the GPNVG-18s, or they now have dual tubes that kind of spread out a little bit to increase your field of view. And honestly, that's the way to go. Like if anybody here, any of these 7 people watching here, yeah, it is morning here, yes, it has gotten brighter. If anybody's here looking at night vision and you're like, oh man, I really want to have the GPNVG-18s because I want the wide field of view, like, don't. It's so much more weight, it's so much more money, the parts are so much more expensive. Just get like a PRNVG or some sort of panoramic spreading dual tubes, if you have to have dual tubes. And you get that same field of view for a quarter of the price, a quarter of the complexity, and then you can buy an extremely good set of tubes and put it in there, so you can have these extremely high quality, no blemishes, like good bloom, good resolution, everything is like as good as it gets for $10,000 to $12,000 versus $43,000, $44,000 for a quad set, but then you're still probably settling on a mid-ish grade image intensifier in it. So here's your information and things that you thought you wouldn't learn watching a random helicopter virtual reality stream. But here you are. $101 miles. At least until our 2/3 of the way stop. Real quick, let's which I don't want to do a full circle. What we'll do, we'll break our immersion real quick. Well, there's nobody flying. Can we change this? Seats. Hey! GPS, look at you. Quite handsome. Now. There we go. That's much more normal. Oop. I forget when you're looking backwards. The controls are backwards. Anyways. Where'd my thing go? Oh, here you are. I want to go with that little bunch of lights in front of us. 3 miles away there. Gotta start like point by pointing where I'm going. Oh, don't want to mess with any trim stuff. So for everybody else, I mean, guess GPS too, even though we've been talking this entire time. How are y'all doing? How was y'all's New Year and winter break, Christmas break times? Are you all safe in the ice? Is anybody in the ice and snow right now? Does anybody make terminals, or is it something that you would have to like 3D print and produce? Or is there somebody who custom makes? Because I feel like it's probably not something that exists just as its own. But I feel like there might be somebody somewhere who's like, hey, if you want an airport, we have 3D models of so many of these and we can 3D print them for you. And if that's not the case, and you just say you want one but nobody produces them, then let me know and maybe we can start a business 3D printing and producing models of airports for people. Because Will Trent's over in 2.5 months, and I will have nothing to do. And if that's a business that can be started and just be done whenever orders come in and don't have to be like full-time doing stuff, then yeah, I'd be down to play. And how big would 1/500 get? Like, what would the finished dimension be of, let's say, are you looking at like runway and everything as well? I would assume you're talking about, oh, you said CSG terminal. So I assume, are you just talking building, or are you talking like full airport property? I feel like airport property would be huge. And if you're just talking about terminal, what would the overall dimension be when you shrink it to 1/500? And then follow up on top of that, are there 1/500 scale planes, or are they a different size? I've never really looked at scale airplane sizes. Just the terminal building. Cool. Yeah, so how big is it overall? And what sort of are there scale models that would be same size as that? Or same scale? 1.5 inches tall? I figure the height wouldn't be that big of a deal. It would be the overall terminal sizing. Okay, so you do have 1/500 scale CRJ9s. Yeah. If it's something where you can find a step file for it, let me know. I've got a printer, and I'll print whatever for you as a homie. You know, I don't want to charge you for anything like that. But if you think this is something where it's like, oh, cool, it could give you a little side project whenever you have time, to where if I can print and produce these, and if you want to paint and finish them, or if we just finish the surfaces or whatever, you know, then who knows? Could be a neat little Etsy joint venture or something. Oh, the school has 3D printers? Nice. That makes it easy. The big thing is just like finding the correct places if you're going to be doing like overhangs and stuff like that. Like doing supports or trying to different print directions, at angles, sideways, whatever feeds the best, multiple parts, etc. Then of course resolution, you know, looking at different tip sizes on the extruders, and like probably PLA plus would be all you'd really need. Unless you like have to have nylon or PETG or something like that. It's like cool if you're not putting it outside in the heat and exposing it to all this different stuff. PLA is probably more than capable of doing whatever you need for that. I wonder if somebody's already done a CSG terminal like here in Microsoft Flight Sim, because a lot of people will do add-on airports where they make them more realistic comparatively, which after we finish today, if you're still here, remind me and we'll jump down to CSG and see what it looks like. Because if it's the case where it's a sorry, I got something in my eye. If it's a case where it's something where somebody's made an aftermarket model, they probably have the modeling for it. And you could probably email and be like, hey guys, I really want to 3D print this. It's my local airport. Could I get the files for it? Or if you don't want to just give them, could I give you a few dollars for the file? And they'd probably send it over to you. They'd probably think it's a pretty neat project. Which, like, I know I have the Hartsfield Atlanta mod to make it look more realistic. And I want to say I bought that back on 2020 before they started doing, like, different world updates and making different things. Because I feel like they've probably made Hartsfield much better. Just in the base level of the game, because it is, like, you know, back and forth between, like, busiest airport and the world status. If it's not, it's like number 2, blah, 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 whatever, you know. So I'm sure it looks good. And I know we've been down to Columbus. I just don't know. Or I don't remember what it looks like. Either way. use Google Earth to get the dimensions and GPT to scale it. Also, if anybody's in here watching, you have questions or comments, you've got working thumbs. If you're watching this on your phone, it's not hard to click over here and type a comment. The more I have to talk about, the more you guys are entertained, unless you're just here for the... Well, it's not copyright free. I've paid for usage of this generic background music, which I can't even tell if it's still running. Maybe I hear it? I don't know. Flight Sim TO has a perfect mod. Okay, cool. We'll check it out. Let me make sure music's playing, because I kind of like having the background music going back there. Okay, it was just a super quiet song there at the ending. Sick. And back to you. Resume. .77 nautical miles, and we are doing a ground speed of 147 knots. So we have about 30 minutes until our midpoint. Ish. Probably 45, because we'll slow down and look at stuff if anything unique pops up. But I think we're in a pretty relatively boring part of the country for the time being. And also, at our midpoint, we might want to seriously consider another helicopter. I do not know what the altitude performance is of the 206L3, but I believe the airport that we're finishing at does have a good bit of altitude. I think it's somewhere around the 10 to 12,000 foot range. So, we may try it. I think we'll have enough fuel to where if we need to abandon it, we will. And if we do end up doing that, what I'll probably do, I'll get rid of our passengers back there. I think we have 2 passengers. I'll get us down to minimum crew, me and co-pilot here. What is that up above? A red thing. Can you see it? All the way up there. Valeska! Better be sorry. Look at you giving viewed hours. Fake engagement! Fake engagement! You should turn the volume up so that way I can, like, scream profanities and let all the housemates hear that. It can get up to 20,000, but can it operate landing? The question would be out of ground effect hover limits per weight. We're going to assume standard atmosphere because whatever, 1,000 feet here or there may give us a little bit of a problem, but if it's like a 2,000 foot buffer, then whatever. But what we would need to look at, which there's no manual in here, sadly, would be out of ground effect hover and in ground effect hover. Out of ground effect hover is nice because it can get you out of stuff if you need to, or if you have any weird winds or you have to save yourself. In ground effect hover would be the thing, which that's where we'd have to do more of a running landing sort of thing and really land it like an airplane, but come to a hover. And we cannot do an in ground effect hover at this elevation, but it's like a few feet off. Then we'll have to do a running landing, and I think it's a dirt runway, so. don't know if you'd call this an endeavor. This is more of just like an ill-fated project to make my butt get sore. You can see. I don't know if you've been here since the thing, but I have a camera up here now so you can see me. Hello. Oh, hello. But I'm going to need a more comfortable seat eventually, because every time we do this it gets worse and worse. Sitting on a plank of wood. That red thing's getting bigger up here. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's an airport or anything like that. Like a light? I don't think so. Pilot cam. Which is not really exciting during this sort of stream. Which I think I did this during the Santa Tracker one. That was our first time using the pilot cam, right? Which this horror stream, it's like I'm not doing anything. If I could balance my cyclic main stick here had a very good friction on it, I could just set it and let go. But it doesn't, so I kind of have to keep my little finger here holding it up in just enough of a place. And also, I know we're going off course, but I want to see what this red thing is. I'm absolutely curious. Does this make me a fish? Just seeing like a light at the surface, or like little fish with like the dangly thing or whatever? Am I a fish? It was before Santa. Interesting. Or yeah, I think it was like piloting's never been this fun or something. It was just a doodle around stream sort of thing. A lot of undeveloped area right here. Heavy green on the map there. That's wild. The red light is getting bigger. I am going into the fish's mouth. What would be even funnier is if you don't see the red light. Which the stream's super small on my phone, so I really can't see what y'all can see if you're watching it in landscape properly. Yeah, bit of jungle. Also, speaking of bit of jungle, I really want to go to Tasmania and go like gold and gemstone prospecting in the creeks there. There's a guy that I found on YouTube that was doing like a gold thing up there, going through all the old cracks and places in rivers where like old prospectors wouldn't have been able to like reach down and get nuggets from. And he was doing pretty good. And then he posted a video a few months ago that I just got showed, because I only found him a couple of weeks ago. But it was like going up there in like sapphire and topaz, hunting in the river. You can't see it. Don't lie to me. You know, I could look at my phone, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to check to make sure you can. I'm just going to know that you can see it because I'm confident. Yeah, Tasmania would be sick. Like the jungles and like, I don't know what I thought thinking Tasmania. And even hearing it on like Rogan when they're talking about like extinct animals and stuff, because they're talking about what the Tasmanian tiger, which really isn't a tiger, it's just like a striped leopard sort of thing. Was it the tiger? I don't. Either way, talking about that, and they're like, yeah, it's super dense jungle, so like you never really, if they are out there, there's people that are saying they've seen them within like the past 50 years, but it's like one person, so you don't know. And like I hear it, but I was never like, oh yeah, Tasmania, dense jungle. But watching this dude's videos, holy crap. It looks so cool out there, so beautiful. Where are we? We are near VE44, whatever that is. India, Nepal, somewhere there. 2/3 of the way from Guwahati. Or we're probably like dead halfway between Guwahati and the little run that goes up towards Everest. Okay, so I think it is that airport, because that's in line VE44 there. I'm going to put on our little cheater popsicles here. Yeah, so right now we're near Kalachini, and that's Hashimar, but I don't think that's the airport. Unless they have the airport marker really off to the side. That might be landing lights. That's probably what it is. It's probably the Vassies or the Pappies. The precision approach lights. Is this the Tasmanian devil, the Tasmanian tiger cat that I'm thinking of? Because I think Tasmanian devil is like a little furry fella from like Flintstone sort of cartoons. Oh yeah, yep, those are landing lights. Okay, cool, we can resume course now. I don't need to see it. Big airport though. Unless we need to go here. No, because we're getting close to our fella here. And then we'll follow the mountain line down. And then we'll be turning north to go in. Because I do not think that we're going to be able to do that path there. What? You don't understand anything I'm saying? Am I having a stroke? Or are you just not acknowledging the red lights? Looney Tunes, yeah. I hope he doesn't look like the real thing. He's a cartoon. It's not real. Those lights were visible from really, really far off. I feel like you would have not been able to see those from how far out we were. But who knows, maybe we were just high enough to where they'd be seen, and it doesn't look like there's trees within a half mile of them. So maybe we would have been clear. Don't know. How did I forget the name Taz? That's concerning. Hashimara. See, I know I wasn't crazy now because there is an airport here, and it's an explainable light. It's not just some random ghost light floating in the middle of nowhere. I wonder what it'd be like to live somewhere like this, where the highest mountain range in the world just like continuously looms over you. I feel like when you're in the presence of something as great and significant as that, it can put a lot more reference on the rest of the world for you. Oh no, you just can't comprehend Indian names. Dot, not feather. Also, I think we made a grave mistake on one of the last streams. So apparently India has like an official, unofficial state to the northeast, and it's somewhere that we stopped. So it's not like India proper, but it's kind of like Puerto Rico's America, but it's also Puerto Rico. And I think we'd stopped and either fueled or did like an overnight or something in an Indian state that's not India. So I did break my no India rule technically. Is that Rupshire airfield? What, the one that we're going to? Or the one that we just went over? The one we're stopping at up here is going to be VASG, which is Shiliguri, Shiliguri. That's where our mid-stop's going to be. No, it's India. Ew. I didn't think we're that far yet, but made that oopsie, didn't we? I knew the helicopter smelled like curry. Call me the gift card redeeming ceiling fan. Making our way over. Don't make me feel worse. India. I already feel bad. Also, I pay zero attention to the land out here because it's just a waste of a country. And I do not feel bad for saying that. Feel free to cancel me. If anybody ever finds this, but yeah, I feel bad. Not about saying it, just that we landed here. Small piece on the east of Bangladesh. Yeah, there's little spots. I mean, it's a giant country. A lot of people, and despite what all my jokes and everything are, they have a large influence in a lot of different places. Just out of sheer number and capital, you know. Starting to get some lower clouds here, but those should be rising as the day continues. Of course, eventually we will need to climb. The Indian Ocean. No, the poop soup. It sucks because, like, I would love to do an around the world flight in real life. Obviously, I would not do the Australian jump. I would just go straight for the circumnavigation. But I don't think it's possible going through Russia. At least in helicopters that I could attain and do it with. I think Pilot Yellow did it in a 66, right? I mean, I just remember us doing our Russian bit. And it was like, what was that, 2 weeks in? And it was just a lot of nothing out there in that area, out in eastern Russia. Like Pacific Ocean bordering Russia. But then again, like, I'd also love to go to Russia. Like, deep Catholic background. like highly traditional, a lot of stuff. Sure, a lot of people don't agree with a lot of the political things going on, but just from a enriched culture standpoint, like absolutely amazing country, and I would love to go there. But it just sucks right now because like I don't know what tourist visas and things like that look like currently for anybody wanting to go out there. Yeah, if Tom didn't exist, we'd have freaking what? I need to look back and see how much of a detour that was, because I think we were going to leave south of Japan. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, if Tom didn't exist, we were going to be... I think we would have left the bottom of Japan, jumped over here, and maybe done a water crossing here. But instead, I need to figure out, like, from Taiwan until making it back up to here, how many days we spent. Like, from Taiwan to Bangkok, how many days of stream was that? Because if Tom didn't exist, we can just delete that number of days and then move ourselves forward that much. And it's one of those things, too, where, like, since we did Australia, I'm also going to be adding a day or two on to doing Africa. And we'll jump a bit of the Mediterranean to get up to Europe. And then also we're going to island hop the Caribbean islands in an effort to hit South America as well, so I can hit all of the main continents with the exception of Antarctica, because I'm not going to add 2 months onto this series, although it's kind of a perpetual series at this point because I'm not paying as much attention to it as I should. I don't want to add that much time to it, but I feel like I do want to do an Antarctica to like northern Arctic Circle sort of thing, Arctic Circle sort of jump, or Antarctica to the most northern point of Alaska, something like that. I feel like we'll do one of those series eventually. The rest of the UK is fine, yeah. Scotland, Ireland. There are some things in England proper that I would like to visit, just out of my interest of different things. But it's not necessary. Like, the biggest thing that I want to do that would involve England proper would be going to spend a week doing the Isle of Man TT. And when I say doing, I mean watching. I'm a decent rider. I'm nowhere near a good enough rider to do any sort of competition at Isle of Man. Balls are nowhere near big enough for that. Those are a different breed of humans that compete in that. But I'd like to go to the TT. Do that for a bit. And I believe Isle of Man is part of England proper. During that time period, I would like to purchase a vehicle. Well, see, there's nothing from, like, pole to coast. And same thing on the north side from coast to pole. So I don't know if it would be possible fuel-wise. We could simulate ferry tanks, which that could be debated in the rules. Just like in this one here, it's like, did we do ferry? I think we did one ferry tank day up near Russia, just because it was such a long haul. Or we might have had like 1 or 2 ferry tank days where it's like, okay, cool, we'll say we have another 25 or 50% fuel, and I can click my fuel button for here and make that a thing. But yeah, Isle of Man. I'd like to go there. I'd like to watch the Isle of Man and take in that entire thing. During the trip out there, I would like to purchase a vehicle and have some way of driving it through Europe while I'm there. Whether that be making a friend that's out there and doing this trip with them and having them with me while we drive the vehicle, and then me taking ownership of the vehicle after the trip. But I like to hit Isle of Man, and then usually it's about a week in between, and then there's the 24 hours of Le Mans in France. So I'd like to do the TT, 24 hours Le Mans, eventually make my way down to the Mediterranean coast, and probably over to Portugal or somewhere in Spain, and then ship the car back to the US. So, even though I am a Toyota enthusiast, I would love to find some sort of, like, old, cool German, like, big body sedan. Like a 90s S500 or something like that. You know, like big V8 Mercedes. I mean, like a 70 would be cool, the V12, but I don't have $100,000 to spend on a 1990s Mercedes, so. But being a Toyota guy, it's weird because recently I've really had a Mercedes kick. For like late 80s, mid to late 80s to early 90s Mercedes, before they went to the round headlights. Back when they still had like the rectangular headlights, like the 190E Cosworth. Which if you look up Mercedes 190E Cosworth and just like that body style Mercedes, I think it's so cool. I don't know what years they were. They were the Evo models, which I would be building a clone of, obviously. I do not have the money to purchase a real Mercedes Cosworth Evo, but I would definitely build a clone, and I wouldn't feel ashamed for building a clone car, just because it's so cool. It's such a cool look. But weirdly, I am a sucker for four-door vehicles that have more power than what they should. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you need a car that can go from 0 to 80 miles an hour and put you on the interstate, comfortably move you out of your own way. But if you have a sedan that's rear-wheel drive, sometimes I'll give an exception to all-wheel drive, that's a bit faster than what it should be, or a lot faster than what it should be. Like, I just think it's cool. Like, what's cooler than having a sedan that can, like, cruise at 150? Like, Autobahn sort of thing, you know? Yeah, no shame, paying homage, you know, like, I already feel... Like, there's a weird line with homage and respect for the purpose of what it is and whatever else. Like, I've talked about it before, but I'm a watch enthusiast. I don't have the money to get the watch collection that I would like. That's just what it is. Watches can get kind of pricey. But I'm a very big enthusiast of tool watches. And the best way to think of a tool watch is if you were to see like a nice fancy dress watch where it's shiny, smaller bezels around it, like more delicate attachment points for the strap. That's kind of more of a dressy sort of thing. A tool watch is something that's a bit chunkier, made to be worn every day in whatever condition, not care about what happens to it. So I'm a big fan of tool watches, and also I do scuba dive, so I'm a fan of dive watches. And one of the OG tool watch dive watches was the Rolex Submariner, and then also by relation the Tudor Submariner. And then once it got to like the mid-80s, early 90s or so, they kind of changed the casing on those to become a bit more thick. But you cannot buy a newer Rolex Submariner or a Tudor, I guess Black Bay would be their equivalent model line. I don't think Tudor does a Submariner since like late 70s or something. Either way, the thinner style Rolexes and Submariner cases and the old school Rolex Oyster case design, they don't make that anymore. you can only get this much thicker one, which still looks good, still very strong, and like I wouldn't mind having one, but I like the way the thinner bezeled watches look. And I'll see if I can put this somewhere where you can kind of see it. This is not a Rolex. I do not have that sort of money yet. This is a local-ish company called Forrester, and Forrester makes an homage-type watch. And I'm watching my stream down here in the corner to make sure you can see it good before I take it down. But this homage watch has the smaller case. Okay, you can see it kind of good there. I'll lower it a little bit for a few seconds. It's got these smaller places where the lugs go, a bit thinner. It wears a bit smaller. And I really, really like the style. And as much as I would love to spend anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 on a vintage Rolex that has had a life that needs to be refurbished and gone through, or has already been refurbished and gone through and had everything replaced, I can't justify buying one of those to eventually treat it how I would like to treat it. Because I've taken this homage watch here scuba diving, and if I break it, yeah, sure, there goes $1,000-ish, but it's not going to be as much of a heartbreak as me breaking a watch worth $10,000 and having these parts that are almost irreplaceable. So while I'd like to have one day for a collection because I think they're cool, I think they're very beautiful pieces, and it's something that retains the value. It's just like a savings account you can wear. I'm okay with this being an homage because the real people don't make this style case anymore. And for me, my purpose in this watch anyway is to wear it daily and to, I don't want to say abuse it, but not care about it. I've scratched the crystal on this thing. I polish the crystal once every couple of months because I scratch it doing shooting and doing all this stuff that's rougher, especially on older movements and older complications and stuff. Especially if it's like a date model or whatever. So I'm okay with homage. I'm not okay with rip-off. And the homage, it's very specific. Like, if this was an homage watch of a new Submariner, I'd say, sorry, that's not an homage, it's a clone, and I wouldn't get it because I'd say, support the real people, get the real thing. But since this is something where it's not produced anymore by the real people, and if I had one that was a real one, unless I was just made of millions of dollars, then I wouldn't want to destroy something that was effectively a piece of history. Hope that makes sense. But like clone cars, homage cars, kind of falls on the same purpose. I would love a 190E Cosworth Evo to go take and do fun track things with as it was intended. But that's also a $250,000 car, a lot of old parts, a lot of things that are hard to replace, and I would much rather have the 190 Evo sitting in the collection than also buy a 190 and build it up in a way that I want to drive it aggressively and go enjoy it as people would have enjoyed the Evo back in the day. And then if I break it, cool, then I've broken new parts that I have a hand in, and it's not something where I'm ruining the story of what this thing was. They do make screen protector type things for it, but at the end of the day, it's like, cool, this is like a $30 crystal on the front, and this isn't even like this is a synthetic, so it's not like a rock or a quartz crystal sort of thing. This is like a domed polycarbonate crystal, so it will scratch easier, and that's something I accepted and I knew when I went to go purchase it. So it was never like oh my god, this is crazy, it damages so easily. It's like, cool, this is the look, this is everything that I wanted it to be, look and style wise, and I don't have to worry that much about it because I'm not throwing away a check whenever it gets hurt. But yeah, funny talking about the 190 Evos. There's a guy I watch on YouTube called Mr. JWW, and he's a car guy out of the UK. Done quite well for himself doing car guy. Look how the Himalayas out there starting to show themselves against the blue sky. And I don't know if it was his main channel or his second channel, but he got to go look at this like billionaires collection out in the UAE. Don't remember if it was Dubai or somewhere near it. Either way, what the guy had a legit Cosworth Evo, super rare, and he let him drive it, but then he also had another 190 there that he was planning on redoing and building into the sort of car that he would want to drive the 190 Evo like, but he's not going to because he respects the history of it. So even for a guy that has the money to throw away on something like balling up a legitimate Evo, he didn't. He bought another car, and he's building a clone homage replica car, but with modern parts and stuff that he would want to have and beat on and enjoy. So I feel like my thought process is very justified on that. And I'm also not denying the fact that I don't have the money to throw away on a Rolex right now. If I did, I would, because I think they're super cool pieces. They hold their value. They're extremely tough. You know, like, it will outlast this thing. And I think that just certain lines of them just look so much better than some of these micro brands. Yeah, so whatever, you know. Anyways, we're coming in here to this little baby airport now, which is strange. So what do you think? Did we ever look up what the in-ground effect hover limit was on a Bell 206 L3? Or do I need to Google that once we land? The IGE ceiling for a Bell 2063. And of course it does matter with different weight and everything as well. We're not going to be max gross weight, we're just going to be pilot, co-pilot, and we're going to be attempting to land at about a quarter tank of fuel or so. This has to be a helicopter only base. There's no way airplanes take off unless they're like bush planes or something. This has to be helicopter only. Coming in kinda hot, but I'm okay with that. Still giving ourselves more than enough time to slow down, which we could stop before the end of the runway if we wanted to. But we're going to hit this second to last taxiway, turn off, and hit the fuel station. Technically, we're in a tailwind right now, it looks like, with the wind soft, but it's basically dead air. Like, ooh, there's my collective. Haven't touched that in a few minutes. Okay, so what I want to do here... Oh, it pulls us up automatically. I forgot about that. Kicked out our rear passengers. I am heavier than 170. We're at 193 right now. 170 will be our passenger. Fuel. About a half tank right now. Do 3/4 of a tank. Siliguri. Let me load this in aircraft real quick. Yeah, we're currently Siliguri. Where we're going is going to be over a lot of stuff. We're going to want to come in this thing right here. I want to set our entry point direct to. So that's 104 miles, so we'll have about an hour until that point. We should be fine getting over everything until then. Then we'll head north in up to our airport here, VNSB, which elevation is 12,310 feet. Yeah, we're in India, right? Gross. Bell 206L3 IGE hover chart. Let's see. And then see altitude, we're just going to assume it's at the 12.3. Shoo. What's the weather there right now? IFR 5 degrees Celsius. I don't think we'll be able to land up there. Oh, that's out of ground effect. I want in ground effect. Look, out of ground effect, we're about... It's a 44 there. Whatever. If we can't make it, we'll go to a nearest airport and take something from their inventory. Let's see. Here's a cool thing. We haven't gotten out of the helicopter yet, so I don't think this is considered India. I don't need to pee, so we're just going to get on to it. There's our airspeed. We'll let that float us up. And we will need to add some altitude. We're going to be hunting for around 4,500 feet to begin with, I believe. I should have done more info. Whether can somebody convert 1028 to inches of mercury? 1028 HPA. Then give that to me in inches of mercury. 1028 HPA. This one might be more. Yeah, it's still 1028 there. (1028 HPA) to inches of mercury, INMG or HG. I'm assuming it's going to be like 3012 or something like that. Split these peaks up here. I'm only at 6% torque. We can add a bit more into there. Also, I gave them monopoly money when we paid for this fuel. They thought it was real. Nobody's doing it for me. Guess I'll have to text and fly. 28 HPA. 2 inches of mercury. 3036. Wow, that's much more than I expected. So we'll come in here to our altimeter. Plug in 3036. We might have to be 5,000 feet to cross this. Either way, we got a good climb right now. We're maintaining like a 600 foot per minute climb, so we're cool. Oh, no leveling off, continuing the climb. Thank you, thank you. I also don't know how far behind my stream's lagging from what I'm doing right now, so who knows, y'all could be a minute off and I'm sitting here, what's going on? But it's been here. Well, we'll do a test, so get ready to send a message that just says like test, and I'll count down and you send it, then I'll count to see how long of a time period it is. So get test typed and get ready to send it. And we're going to send it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. Okay, it's like 24 seconds off. That works. Not bad. Valeska's just late. That New York internet must be slow. It's all frozen in there. Oh yeah, how much snow did you end up getting? We got nothing down here. Currently 55 degrees outside of the helicopter. Ooh, we got a little gust there giving us some lift. That's nice. Trim. We will be getting more choppy over the mountains. That's just part of it. The mountains funnel the wind, and that is something that is definitely modeled here in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So if anybody's looking at getting into it for realism, it does pretty good. We'll cover this peak here. We'll go to the right of the one in front of us, and then to the left of the one that's more gradual, that's in front of that. There's power poles up here. We are well above those. When I was doing my helicopter license, they were asking me, like we were just going, oh! Sorry guys, we have to do it. We haven't done this in a while. Which means we're going to have to build up the altitude again, but I think it's worth it. Got a lot of speed here we got to bleed off. But one of the things they were asking, just like making sure I knew all the things before the check ride, was like, when you see power lines, like, where do you cross the power lines? And my answer was above the hill. But the correct answer is above the poles, because there's not going to be a line above the poles, which makes sense. see your hood in some areas, foot in the other. I mean, that's not bad. Still more snow than I've ever seen. I've still never seen powdered snow, so. Fingers crossed we can actually fly under this bridge, but this looks like one that's set up to a place that we can actually go under. Make sure we have a good escape route. There we go, first bridge in a while. Now we gotta work ourselves back up 4,000 feet. It's cool, we'll kind of follow this canyon for a bit. Makes it feel like afternoon, but we're still morning hours here. The sun is arising. What we'll do, it looks like there's another canyon that kind of comes off to the left here, and we're gonna follow that instead of taking the right fork. Yes. Perfect. Not a canyon, really more of a valley. Bought a bunch of camping cans and candles. Haven't had to use them. Yeah. We prepped here, not heavily, because we kind of know our area and what it would happen. But we even used way less than the little bit that we actually did prep. I am kind of upset that I wasted about $10 of my good salt making some pre-mixed salt brine to spray on the doors of my 4Runner or the Lexus or whatever I wanted to drive it. Really, it'd be the 4Runner. Like, I wouldn't be driving the Lexus in this condition just because tires are not meant for icy roads. But I'd made like some saltwater spray to like spray around the edge of the doors and stuff when I needed to go out and go drive, but we didn't even get stuff freezing. So a waste of like $10 worth of good salt because I didn't have any like bulk crap salt. Felt good to hit a bridge again. And when I say hit a bridge, I mean we didn't hit it, but fly under it. I'm going to take off power for a little bit. We're keeping airspeed. We're gaining airspeed. I don't want to gain airspeed. I want to stay at whatever airspeed it gives us here and make our best climb. Which really I think best climb is probably at like 65, 70 knots, somewhere in there. But I also don't want to be going that slow. So basically, I'm picking a speed that I want to go, and then making my climb whatever speed maintains that forward airspeed. I can even give a little bit more forward airspeed right now. We're still going to make this. It's going to be close at the top of this hill. I'm going to try to keep myself steady. Which I can even feel it pulling back a little bit. Are we going to make this? I have a little bit more power I can pull. Oh, and there's a power line up here. Thanks for that, guys. Fly over the power pole, remember. Cleared. And didn't get to take my morning comparison pick of snow. Wall against my door because neighbors were sweet and shoveled a path from my door to my car and cleared my windshield. Good people, good for them. People do still exist. That's nice. Speaking of shoveling snow, there's a girl I follow on Instagram. I think her name's like Olivia Steele or something like that. I want to say I found her because she was a pilot a couple of years ago. But she also does like falconry and stuff like that, which is wild. Anyways, she had posted a picture of like her outside with one of her hawks or something like that. And she's like shows the hawk on her arm and she turns to film her husband over there. I want to just find it because I think the way she worded it was funny. And I'll tell y'all her at in case y'all want to follow a cool person. OLI _Olivia Steele _. So Olivia Steele, Steel, one word. Anyways, we're about to overspeed here. I'll slow down a wee bit. Anyway, she had posted out there with the Falcon or whatever. And she called her husband micromanagement. She said micromanagement. Oh, micromanagers watching Jolly Pirate shovel the snow. So it's her and the bird watching. They're the micromanagers watching him snuggle the play with your bird path is what he called the snow path he made. But then it shows the bird like getting down and playing in the snow, then hopping back out and being like instantly regretting it. So anyways, cool. Olivia's still a very neat account. Birds of prey are very cool. Adding some altitude, we are at 6,400 and climbing. We are definitely in the foothills of something majestic here. That is for sure. Casual 10,000 foot peaks off to the right. I'm assuming that's about what they are. We can add some more pitch. Which we do have to remember as we go up, even just to maintain the same, we are going to have to add more and more pitch because the air will be getting thinner. Low key though, I am looking forward to landing this bad boy once we get to destination, because we are going to be at double this altitude. Or less than double, we're at 7,000 now. But we're going to be up there a good bit, and the air is going to be much thinner. We still have about an hour until we get to final destination. Yeah, falconry, very cool hobby. Apparently you have to be very heavily licensed and trained and stuff for that. Ooh! I finally see a tag of another player or aircraft or something up ahead of us. That's nice. I think we've basically been the entire day without seeing another tag of something. It might be another player since it looks like it's aiming towards Everest. When I was out here earlier taking the thumbnail pic, there was somebody in an F-18 up there buzzing the summit. You blame Hawk Lady. Favorite flick? Never heard of it. Think you're making it up. Sounds like a made-up movie. Or documentary, or whatever you're going to claim it is. Trim out a little bit more left pedal. There we go. It ain't a simple hobby. Oh yeah, it is a lot. I didn't look into it, but she had posted something. I don't remember if it was a story or like an actual post that she had made. But she either found like an injured hawk or like one that just seemed to be like slightly more interested in humans or whatever. And she was able to do whatever amount of taming or whatever she needed as it was wild to be able to capture it and keep it as her own. I forget what her levels and things. Like I said, it may be a post on her page. Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't even know who that name is. Michelle Pfeiffer. Sounds made up. And the fact that I pronounced it Pfeiffer first time shouldn't mean anything to you. I'm just smart. Not that I've heard the name or anything before. 8,100 feet in climbing. It's weird because this seems not that high. I'm sure we're only like 2,000 feet above the ground right here. Of course, diminishing as we get closer to the mountainside. But I'm sure and can almost guarantee an altitude like this would feel absolutely unreal in the Little Robinson. And maybe not so much when you're close. Like, obviously, I feel like I would definitely notice a lack of performance at the altitude. But I don't think it would feel that weird if you were, like, right here, because the ground's only, like, normal flying altitudes below you. But, I mean, if you're doing, like, some of these crossings between the ranges and the ridges and stuff where it drops 4,000 to 5,000 foot below you, immediately, I'm sure that would be mildly unsettling as something little like the R-22. Which I do look forward to taking an R-22 up to the Georgia mountains and Tennessee mountains someday. Because, like, while there are higher places, you could just go up in altitude if you wanted to fly higher, you know, see what you can do. But I think it'd be much cooler doing it up through the mountains and really working with power and wind and stuff. I feel like it'd be a very good learning experience too, to figure out how the wind plays along the ridges and stuff like that. It's like here we're going to be going over a valley and we're going to keep our altitude of 8,000 foot or more as we're going over here. Ooh, we can start to see some big ones off in the distance to the right over there. But it's very hard to see on the lighter blue background of the sky. And that it's at such a far render distance, I really can't make out any details as far as what they are. There's a chance that one of the ones that we're looking at over there could be Everest. And that could be K2. I don't know. I'm just not as familiar with Himalayan layouts. I mean, that thing looks huge. It's a very wide, broad mountain. Everest is a bit peakier, if you want to give it a word like that, but it definitely feels more and more unreal-ish getting in these more mountainous areas. Which it might not be as obvious for the viewers just because you're looking at it very 2D, but having this 3D perspective of being in the VR, it makes it very ominous. It makes you feel very small. And I've brought this up a few times. So that feels a lot like Denali right there when we were heading north through Alaska. Like that whole giant range where it's kind of like one big mountain, a lot of like that feels very Denali-esque to me. Which I don't know what mountain this is, but we're probably looking at this one right there. So VNTJ, and it's whatever mountain is northeast of it. Let's turn a little bit back on course. It's really, I mean, as long as I'm clearing mountains ahead of us, we can just keep on course. We don't need to follow the entry point to the valley. I wasn't sure how tall the mountains were around our entry point, but the closer we get, we can always change. I just know that our airport's still 2,500 feet higher than what we are right here. And we will be running on the limits of what power we have available and pitch we have available. And I probably did overfuel for what we needed, but I think we should be fine. little bit more southward. A little bit more westward, really. I do want to keep below 10,000. And it does make this leg seem very slow because at altitude, the ground does not move by anywhere near as fast, although we are still doing 125 knots. And ground speed 140, so we do have a 15 knot tail up here. It's funny, I've seen a handful of videos of different pilots, like Helicopter Pilot Lee on Instagram, who primarily does like Alaska stuff. And she does a lot of flying at altitudes like this, which looks crazy to me as somebody who's only flown at 2,000 foot above the ground or less, you know. And you said it's a must watch. Don't believe it. Definitely not gaslighting you. Also, there is a way to reverse engineer what different temperatures and humidity levels are off the altitude of the clouds. Which, like in the not EFB, like the EF6, the flight computers, where there's like calculators with a whole bunch of like pilot related programs already set up in it. They have a cloud-based calculator. Because the inversion rate, or the rate that the, I'm probably butchering some of the precise language, but the rate that the temperature changes as you go up in altitudes, pretty predictable. So if you know what humidity is, or you know what the cloud-based levels are, or whatever, you can solve for the other. So if you know that the cloud bases are at 2,500 feet, and you know it's 70 degrees outside, then you're like, okay, cool, well it's, or 7 degrees where you're standing, then you know, like, okay, cool, well it's 7.5 degrees cooler up there, which means for it to match to condensate or whatever, then it has to be whatever humidity percentage now before you reach saturation. You're still here. It's cool. I figured you weren't going anywhere. You usually let us know if you need to run away. Somebody's coming up behind me on the right. Don't know who, but somebody is. It might be a real person flying recreationally, like whoever's up in front of us and to the left. But I can't see. Pretty sure I'm set on live players also, so I should be in open lobby for whoever to come and grief me, even though there's no contact, thankfully. The worst pterodactyl incident of the whole streaming series. Oh no, don't make me fly through India more. Ooh. But they seem to be moving relatively slow. So that's what's making me think player. Because I feel like most airlines over this area are going to be at altitude and at, 500-600 knots or something like that. So some sort of significant ground speed. And they don't seem to be catching up with me that quick.
Puertodactyl. So I'm gonna send Epic Aviation a message on that I'm streaming. I am live streaming on the Multi-Shop Matt channel. If you want to swing by any, come up. We are getting close to Everest. No, it's the Puertodactyl now, sorry. And it's going to be its spelling from now on. The Puertodactyl is the only thing that could ruin these flights. Still don't see a name back there. Got 70% torque here, so we can add more. Try to keep her over 100 knots. Oh, whoever it was went off the map. R.I.P. We'll be hitting this little tree gap up here. That is what I'm aiming for. But there are still paths and something going on up here, so there is still human movement up here at 9,900 feet. And big drop off. Very cool. 10,000 feet. Looks like we got a long valley here to traverse at altitude, which is going to make it feel slow. Oh, that airplane popped back on and off for a second. But we're going to start needing to aim. Down here, I don't want to cross. Those snowy peak areas yet. So we're going to kind of be doing this here. Would be a fun place to bike. Down, yes. I would not want to bike up. I mean, if you do, more power to you. Literally more power to you. Got freaking, makes me think of that dude. There's a video where it's like how much energy it takes to run a toaster. And it's like this dude with legs that are like this big. I mean, they are huge, huge, huge things. Like the size of tree trunks. And he is like working himself to death on this pedal bike, like trying to create enough energy to run a toaster to just like make some toast. Yep, whoever that is keeps dropping off the map, so I don't know if that's my internet killing it or his internet killing it. Somebody was over there seemingly trying to keep up somehow. Slow it down just a wee bit. 45 nautical miles on our direct to, and then we'll have like 10 miles up the valley. Whoever it is, getting closer. Still can't see a name back there. Heading needs to be about 296 at 313 there, so we'll shoot in a little bit left. Figure out where I'm pointing. Okay, so it looks like that little dip in front of us directly below Sadar Duru 34. Who's at 39,000 feet. towards that peak there. It's a better point for me. Yeah, sorry, the views are good, but flying over this sort of high altitude in a slope helicopter is not the most exciting thing for you. For anybody watching, really. Boring for me, and I'm the one doing it. Although I am the one who decided to make a series of flying around the world. And what's affectionately probably some of the slower aircraft to exist. You know, like, you can get carbon cups to go faster for longer. So, you know, this is my own doing. I'm just glad you guys are here to share the punishment with me. So I'm almost thinking that bigger one behind those mountains over there would be Everest. Maybe not. It's honestly hard to tell because, like I said, there's the level of detail at different distances that we're busy adjusting for currently, so can't tell that far out. Although the details are slowly coming in. Nope, whoever it is off to our left now. I can't see him. Nope, I'm gonna be back in here. They're on the map, but they're not on my vision. Maybe way up there. Can't tell who they are. Welcome back. Where we're still here. Over this valley. I feel like Sonar 234 has to be paused. His altitude's way too stable. It should be fluxing like little bit by little bit. And he's kind of been in that same spot for a while. And our closing rate kind of seems to be what my speed is comparatively, so. Yeah, I can see him up ahead of us. He's not moving. Well, that might be somebody else. Might be somebody else in the valley up here. My current aiming point is kind of right over here in this little horseshoe. And I don't want to get too high. I know our runway's at 12,000, but I want to climb up to our runway. I don't want to have to descend down and then learn that I cannot slow my descent. I'd much rather climb to it and realize that I cannot make it. Because we have enough fuel to turn around and go back to somewhere to change out for an A-star or something. Which we will be doing an A-star next stream because, or later this stream. I don't. What do you guys? Should we attempt a summit today? We have 40 minutes or less until we make to the airport, which will put us there at 9:35 Eastern time. I don't know. I've tried summiting before. I think we even did it on stream. I don't think it's possible. But also, if we did it today, that means we're easily able to just jump and start heading to next location next time instead of taking a 30-45 minute detour to do that, then still just make it somewhere in Nepal. I figure if we do Everest tonight, we should be able to, at that point, you know, get back down to whatever airport we want to leave from. Do it. Yeah, so we should be at our airport at 9:30. But that just means next time we're able to get to the edge of Nepal to get ready for the like 300 mile across that upper part of India jump, which I want to do it in one run. I want to do that non-fuel. So that's 2 episodes from now. And there's somebody over to the right up here, up in the valley up towards Everest. But yeah, today's trip went much quicker than what I was expecting. For some reason, I was thinking it was gonna be like a 4-hour night tonight. Wait for spotting. Oh yeah. Well, we're not going to do it in this this helicopter is completely incapable of making that altitude. I mean, we'd have to like basically triple our altitude right now to make Everest, and this one just can't do it. We have to land and make our swap. Okay, so I see that. That's lower, but we're going to go up for this one over here, being a bit higher. I'm going to use this crossing here as kind of an altitude test for us. Set our climb to like 500 feet a minute. Still got plenty more pitch left. Doesn't mean it's going to do anything though. We just have very friendly airspeed right now. 10-3, 10-4. I feel like if we make this peak here, should be pretty good for our airport of choice. Yeah, definitely once we land up here at this airport, I'm going to stand up and stretch a little bit. My butt is feeling it. It's always funny watching the levels of detail just like slowly climb in. $11.5. So yeah, this is probably going to be the altitude of what our airport is that we're going to, which is crazy. And other than our Denali attempt, which I think we did in the 125 also, other than our Denali attempt, I think this will be the highest that we've been in the stream. Because we did Rainier, I believe. We did Mount St. Helens and Rainier, and I think Rainier is only up to like, what, 10.4? I don't think it's anywhere near this high. Outlet temperatures are looking good. We are in some nice, cool, crisp air. 13,000 foot peak here. Shooey, boys and girls. It's going to be rough at the airport up here, but I think we can do it. I think that's Everest there up through that clearing. No, it's more that way on the other side of all that crap. This airport's very close to sea level. I'm sure it is. And it's like, I'm very aware that the 125, we will not be able to make it up to Everest. Even though the helicopter's capable of going up there, landing and taking off, we're not going to be able to make it. But we will do an attempt to get as high as we possibly can. And that will be our Everest attempt. Because I want to say I did an Everest attempt before we even started this series. So I knew that it was impossible because I gave myself the best possible scenario for it to happen, and it wasn't able to. So I always knew this would be an Everest attempt, not an Everest summiting. I want to say I've done it again since then. I've gotten out of the helicopter and tried to walk up the hill as far as I can, but it considered the helicopter crashed because I guess it slid off the side of the mountain or something. And either way. So it's not this ridge, but the next ridge that we cross will be our will be the valley that we go up to get to our airport. Which, like, the mountains this big, still, they make me feel slightly unsettled, just because it makes you feel small. But being a part of this giant range, it doesn't feel... It still feels intimidating, but it just doesn't feel like as wild as Rainier. I want to say it was Rainier that one night. I want to say we were in the 206 doing that. I don't know if it was this or the Jet Ranger, but we were in a 206, I know that for sure. That mountain looks like you asked a kid to draw a mountain. There's a downdraft coming off of that one. So we'll be going to the left. I don't want to go any higher. unnecessary. We go into the left of this peak here, then turning up this valley. We still have some authority with the main rotor. I know there's a point when you get high enough in altitude when you basically just add full collective and nothing you do changes. But we haven't hit that altitude yet. So whoever this plane is up here, he's up at VNLK. Down, we're very fast right now. We are at the altitude of the airport that we need to be landing at. So that is a thing. I don't know where this oh, that's that one down there. Okay, cool. I'm familiar with seeing things for that one. Because I think it's like the closest paved runway to Everest. Is this one down here? What's it called again? Show me your name. Lukla? We're going to the one that's all the way up here on this hill. But that's a very uphill airport there. It's got a weird approach to it. But we're going to an unpaved runway. But I won't say that airport there is even the one that they started off the H125 summiting run was from Lukla there. It was like, really? Should we have landed to that one? Yeah. But I wanted to get as close to Everest as possible because I think this is extremely high altitude airport up here. The world's most dangerous. Yep, because it's got that, it's a pretty aggressive uphill, isn't it? Of course, as you can see, like up this valley, the approach is wild. Dang, 18,000 foot peak just casually there off the freaking right side. Does it show us an Everest point yet? No. A lot of helipads up here, but this is the closest to runway. We're actually low. So we're going to add some more collective as we have thin air and I can add a lot of collective. I believe it kind of, runway goes to our left a bit. Tell me I want to teardrop and stuff. No, they can suck on that. We're doing runway 31 coming in. Cool. Dude, just even walking from Lukla up to like a base camp would be wild. Yeah, overrun and you're dead. That's the type of airport where they... I'm not going to say there are places where pilots can cheat their weight and balance, but there are some places where obviously, like, you have plenty of runway and you're near sea level. You can afford a bit of wiggle room. You shouldn't, but pilots can get very lazy being near sea level all the time. Versus there, sorry, if your plane's overweight, you don't take off. It's and overweight doesn't even mean overweight for max gross weight of the plane, and overweight for the altitude that you're going to be at. Okay, that's Everest back there. Okay, cool. Everest in sight. Yep. So we need to slow way down. Because this thing right here, this little patch of whatever in front of us there is our airport. 400 feet to go down. I want to get 2 ETL at least. Wind coming off the right. It's going to be a lot of aggressive pedaling once we get here to the ground to actually maintain the hover. We're at our decision height. Everything's looking good. We're going to call it go. We get down here to the flattest spot. Slowly adding in collective. I think we played good keeping our weight down. I'm going to taxi down towards the end. (12,380 feet showing on the altimeter. I'm pretty heavy on left pedal right now, for what I should be. There's just not a lot of bite. I'm taking it slow. This has probably been the nicest landing that we've ever done in this series. When I say nicest, I mean like the softest, like I'm taking my most care doing it. Okay, cool. Throttle down. Bring her down to idle. We've made it to our location. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop up after we go through shutdown procedures, do a little bit of stretching. Use the bathroom, use whatever FBO's here, and come back and we'll do an Everest circle and do an attempt. We might go back down to like Lukla or something like that, just as like a good get out of here spot. Maybe you can think of anything else, let me know, but I think we might do that. But it's also like it's only 9:16 right now. Tailwinds are in our favor. Which I'm going to have to hop out to main menu anyways. For, to change helicopter, so... go. Battery off. Go and turn those off. Shift C. There we go. We made it to the closest runway to Everest. We're going to take a quick FBO break. And I'm actually going to pop out of VR. Phone's still in here. We're going to pop out of VR real quick. We're going to set this to where it looks neat while we're waiting. I'm going to go use the FBO, stretch my legs a little bit. We're going to come back, swap to an A star, and do an Everest attempt. So everybody go take a snack break. Okay. Welcome back. Make sure my volume came back and I'm working with it. I hear music. There we go. Okay, cool. I can hear that. We're good. Okay, cool. So we made the first leg. Now, because this helicopter, I don't want to say historically, has never done a summit attempt, but this helicopter is probably incapable of doing a summit attempt on Mount Everest. Although, funny enough, in the game, we do have the one that is capable of doing it. in real life. And we will not be doing the real life summit because the game won't let us, even with perfect conditions. So what we're going to do, we're going to start. Goodness. Hey, look, our helicopter's still there. We'll start. So this departure. Why does it move it all the way over there? Okay, cool. So that has me there. We'll see if that works. On ground shutdown. Okay, let's see. There 125. Shows 23,000 max. This one. 23,132. $23,140. Both says they're both H125, right? Yep. We'll do the factory one. Set up for passengers. Cargo gives the hook on the bottom, which I think kills our speed. Livery, I hate that they only have a few. I like the orange one though. Fuel and payload. I mean, we're going light. 200 pounds of fuel. Okay, so we're going there. We're going to finish at Luckula. Helicopter parking, that's me. But what we're going to do is add Everest. Okay, we're going super light on fuel. Epic Aviation, what's going on, dude? Glad to see you here. So we just made it to the closest airport to Mount Everest. And now we're going to do an Everest attempt. Come back to Luckula. And then depending on what time it is, we might try to work our way over to Kathmandu. And we'll call that for the day. I'm super light on fuel right now, or else we would have a range marker way out here. But we're going to go for it. Got all my controls where they need to be. No, you should not be running right now. Okay, cool, good. Get rid of that. Gotta get rid of that. And we got some pitot covers and static ports up here. That. Okay, cool. Shift C. We can hop in. Let's get zoomed all the way in. Hey, work is a good thing. Can't say no to work. Okay, so we're in the H125 here. Let's go and get the battery on, anti-collision lights on, the fuel pump on. We can take our rotor brake and take it off. We're not going to test anything because I'm assuming my ground crew did that before me. Engine starts moving so we can watch our temperatures and N1 numbers here. Once we get a good light off, even though we're at 12,000 feet. I'm going to bring it up to 3036, I think, was what we were last time we checked. I gotta click this up to idle. There you go. Light that bad boy off. It's spinning up. It's the longest light off. I guess the altitude really affects that here. That's cool. Horn. Cool. Thank you. We'll leave the horn on. I do want to hear that. Usually I don't care for the horn, but we're at an altitude where it's really, really going to be a necessary thing to know, because there will come a time when we lose rotor speed up there. Okay, as you can see, we have less than a quarter tank of fuel. We're set up here. We're basically going to be heading in a straight direction. I'm going to try a max performance takeoff out of here. If not, we may have to go over to the valley. Lukla? Yeah, dude, the flight sim's great. It's a big thing for me because I wanted to learn how to fly anyways. So I'm very okay with me investing, and I believe it did make me save money. Okay, so we're adding collective here. We're going to have to add a lot of collective to get off the ground, even though we're light. I don't think I need to worry about over-torquing here, just because we're at such an altitude where it's not an issue. Mountains look kind of silly at the moment, but they will be rendering in more. That is not Everest that's in front of us. Everest is the one that's over to the left, not that pointy one. The colder temperatures do make it work better, so you do have more air to chop into, but we're also at 13,000 feet, so it's not going to work better purely based on the altitude there. So it's a plus when you're at ground level or at lower altitudes, but at this altitude we are definitely in a deficit of available power. And not so much because of the thin air. We have the power. There's just nothing to bite into, which is the big thing. Because usually if I were to be at sea level and put full collective, I'm full collective right now, we're only using 74% torque. If we were doing this at sea level, we would be seeing 101+% torque. We would be over-torquing the engine. And a lot of that's because there's so much air for the blades to bite through, especially at full pitch. But up here at now 14,300 feet, there's just not that much air to bite into. So, yeah. It works better, and I can tell you even 20 degrees makes a difference. The cooler evenings are cooler days. I did my helicopter training in the heat of the summer. Where there were days when it was 100 degrees plus on the ramp. It was rough. But there were days when it was slightly cooler or doing like a nighttime flight or something, and it was significantly nicer outside. And you could tell the difference, even in the 22 with 2 people in it. And even going from down to 1 person, I could obviously tell the difference losing 150 pounds in the passenger seat. But 150 pounds like myself was much nicer. The first flight with my license when I took my dad out, it was cooler morning, like we had the doors on because it was so cool. And I don't want to say it felt powerful. It's a Robinson R22. It's 124 horsepower, 131 for takeoff power. But it felt a lot more powerful than what it did on the hot days. Oh yeah, dude, we'll figure out a collaboration. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure something out. The way I look at it is like, I'm way too into having fun with helicopters while I can, and you're way into helicopters. And we live pretty near each other, so, like, why not? And I've talked about stuff with, oh yeah, well, good project for your channel. Like, I've told, my job, I do the guns in the film industry, so movies and TV shows, I do the guns on the sets and stuff. So being in that space, I have a lot of friends who are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. And being in the car space, I've got friends with hundreds of thousands and like over 1 million subscribers. And it's like, when I help them out, it's like, dude, you don't need to put my name on your channel. Like, I don't care. And I think I even told you, like, I don't even, like, I do this for me. I do this for fun. If it ends up paying, that's sick. You know, that's great. But I do this for fun. So, like, whatever you want to do, like, I'm not chasing clout. You know? Oh, dude, that's the way my brain works, too. Ideas all the time. There's always something going on up there. I mean, like, I even told you, it's like, once I'm certified in the 44, if it's something where you want to ride with me and we go airport hop around Atlanta to go look at other helicopters, like, I'm cool with that. Let's go have fun. Okay, so I could be in trim here, heavy right pedal, and it brings me close to trim, but not. So instead of wasting that extra torque, I'm going to even up our pedals to try to keep the rear in as flat of a plane as possible. We're not going to be flying the most efficient forward speed, but I think we're going to be saving enough energy to end up benefiting on the back side of it, if that makes sense. We're definitely going to have to increase our climb rate here. Currently we're going up at 1,900 feet per minute. Oh yeah, dude, you've been killing it the past month or two. I mean, you've always been consistent. But I mean, every like off day that you talk to me, you're up there doing something. It is a second full-time job for you. Okay, we're gonna kind of aim. Let me grab my little laser pointer here so y'all can see on the big screen. Gonna kind of aim for this little area to break through. We could go around there, but I think we have enough climb to make it through that up here. That area. Oop, changing winds. We're only doing 60 knot forward airspeed. I can probably lean into it a bit more. I think we have enough climb to make it through that saddle. Basically, you want to do a thing on how to steal an engine, or how to steal a Robinson R22. Hey guys, here's how you hop in and start an R22. Oh no, I'm down. And like I think I told you, I was looking to do a what do you want to? I'm pretty sure it's Everest in front of us, but it looks like the marker on it was off. I don't know. We're at 24,000 feet though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Everest is this one over here to our left. Yep, it is. We're just fighting wind and weather. 45 knot forward airspeed. I'm full collective. I cannot go any more up than this. But yeah, I think I was telling you I'm working on and planning a video where I want to compare the simulator R22. I'm full right pedal now. So I've run out of pedal completely. So what I'm going to have to do is go this way, feed with the wind. Nothing I can do. I wanted to keep going that way. I've landed over there before in that saddle and tried to walk up the mountain. It didn't work. But right now, I'm just out of pedal. There's nothing I can do. I cannot turn more right than I am right now. I can lower the collective, take torque out of the system, but I am going to lose altitude with that, but that will help us turn. And my hope is we have a different wind over here on the other side of the mountain to where I can trick this around somehow and get us to turn back to the southeast. So we have a killer climb going on right now. I like it. We're at 25,000. Yep, you can see it coming around there. I'm even lowering the collective to take torque off the system. Oop, there we go. A lot more pedal authority just showed up. See, now I'm evening up with the pedals. I can go back to full collective. God, we are high up here. Okay, now back to full pedal. I don't know how well y'all can see my feet. I kind of wish I just had socks on so it would slide easier. $27,000. Definitely getting a weird wind. Oh, here comes a fall. Yep, we have a big downdraft coming off of that. I'm not even going to try to fight that. It's a losing battle. I'm left pedal now, full, almost full left pedal. Back in the collective, we got airspeed back, which means we have a bit of steering to play around with. Obviously, we're not going to summit. It's not going to be possible. 100 knot airspeed. Yeah, it's not going to happen. But we have circled up at 26,000, currently at 25. Still going down, full collective, and I'm full left pedal now, but I can't get it to turn left. So yeah, that's just the lack of air up here. That's all we can do. And I'm just about as wide as what I was comfortably going fuel-wise. I wish we could have taken out... I'm full left pedal now, by the way. Can't turn any more left than what we're doing. So we're going to work our way back around this peak and head back down the valley. But we did our summit attempt. I can tell you there's no way it was going to happen, though. See, look at this. We're even turning right now, and I am full left pedal. I cannot push any harder to turn left. Altitude is wild, I'll tell you that. It's something I look forward to doing in real life one day. And we're going to go back down this valley. I'm still full left pedal. Zoom out on this, make sure we're going back the right direction. Yep. So we're going to be going back down this. There. Still full left pedal. Don't want to overspeed or anything. Sick. Okay, I can look back at chat again. Good. 360 cameras and do a full process. How to start the engine on the 22. Yeah, it's a lot of work to even get up to this altitude. Like this is an extremely, extremely capable platform. As far as helicopters are concerned, obviously. This is a platform that has summited, landed, and taken off again from the summit of that mountain right there. Holds the record. Of course, you can't beat the record because it's the highest place. Unless somebody builds a platform 10 feet higher and goes up there and lands, you can't beat this record. It is, they were the first to do it, and so far I think the only people to do it. Nobody else has tried it. It's not worth the effort. With that said, yeah, we did our best. Altitude is just a thing. Oh yeah, the detail's pretty good here too. I've got the level of detail turned down some. It can go up more. Of course, that requires a lot more computer. Also, since I am wearing VR down here, which you can see in the top left corner of the screen. Hello, this is me. I'm wearing VR, so the VR has a much... There we go, I can finally even out the pedals. The VR has a much more... I won't say chill or relaxed, but the VR has a much lower resolution. And I run it at a lower resolution as well, because when you're just playing with a normal screen, you're only rendering what you're looking at in front. But in this, it's always also rendering what's to my left and right, because if I turn this way, it doesn't want to have to load that immediately. It has everything around me preloaded. So it's a lot more intensive on the CPU and the GPU. If I were to go to, let me back out of this real quick and just go to normal view. So normal view here, you can see the details look a bit better. But I much prefer flying in VR. As I get centered back into this. There we go, that feels good. Need to scoot forward a little bit. There we go. But the VR makes the huge difference. It's I would not want to do this not VR. And this is the valley we're following down. Yep, so we'll get down here to this fork where we took off from. Head left down. We have less than a quarter tank of fuel, but we should be good. Yeah, I think for airplanes, non-VR is acceptable. But if you want to do helicoptering, which, other than helicopters being super cool, one of the big things about helicoptering is being able to, like, hover and land in very specific small spots and take off and maneuver in tight areas. And that's extremely hard when your vision is fixed and you can only see this. Or you can only see this. Which if you're flying airplanes, not that big of a deal. But doing the helicopter stuff, it's nice to be able to look around and say, like, cool, I want to set up my approach for these bushes over here to the left. And you can, because you can really move around. And in different things, when you're doing different missions and career mode stuff, like, I can look out the side here as if I was doing a like a long line external load sort of job. And the VR just makes that. RC helicopters on my list. It's not my immediate list, but I'm going to do this now. I know where this thing is. Here. Scale RC. Ford Bronco 4-wheel drive, super fun. I enjoy that. I'm actually making a video on that. So that's one of the things that I'm scripting and working on right now. But yeah, VR is worth it. So for the computer setup that I have here, the simulator and the VR, I'm probably around $4,000 to $4,500. Are there ways you can probably do it slightly cheaper or whatever? Yeah. Like, you don't need as much functional RAM and everything like I have. I have 1 terabyte on my C drive, 2 terabytes on the D drive. I went with a 4070 Ti Super card. You can go with an older card that will still do pretty much just as good. But what I kind of did is like, yeah, sure, I could have spent $5,000 on a PC, but my whole goal with doing this, you follow a few RC helicopter channels, but I won't. Oh yeah, they look fun. It's on my list, not on my immediate list. I've got other stuff to spend money on. I want to finish up more licensing in the real thing. But I do want RC helicopters just because I enjoy helicopters. I have a little toy R66 that is next to where I watch TV at, sitting back here behind me on my little footstool. and I'll watch TV and literally just do approaches with his R66 in front of me onto the footstool or onto my dog or something. Yeah, the GPU plays a huge part. CPU, sure, I think I have a 7500 X3D. So it's not the 9500 X3D, which is the tip, top. I have a 7500 X3D, so it's up there. Still great. GPU, it's not a 4090, it's not a 5090 or whatever is out now, it's a 4070 Ti Super, and from everything that I saw, this is performance-wise equivalent to the 3090, which ran VR perfectly fine. And it uses less energy because it's a newer gen setup. So 4070 Ti Super, and I think that was the most expensive part. It was like $1,000 for the GPU. But all the other stuff, the board, the case, the power supply, everything else, it was $1,000. So I'm like $2,000 total in the computer. And you could do it for cheaper because I bought like some super good Noctua fans just because I think they're cool because they're brown. I don't care for super fancy, like none of it's RGB or anything like that. I was like, yeah, you could do it with way more money. But my goal, which I don't know if I talked about it with you, Epic Aviation 47. I know your real name, but I'm not going to say your real name out of respect. But the reason I got this was because, I'm sure you know, but everybody says learning how to hover a helicopter is really, really hard. And most people will take anywhere from like 10 to 20 hours to learn how to hover. Well, in an R-22, 10 hours of flight time is $4,000. And guess what cost $4,000? The computer and the controller. The VR is $400, so I'm $4,500. But yeah, 10-ish hours or so of flight time is what my entire setup cost. And I was able to hover day one. So I saved an average of 10 to 20 hours worth of flight time. So I think this has paid for itself. And it's given me a lot of practice. And it's given me a lot of ways to rehearse, like emergency procedures. I've done thousands of auto rotations through this. I've done hundreds of hours of just hovering in different wind conditions, visibilities. I've worked on instrument procedures, kind of, but more just instrument flying. Like, okay, cool, if I fly into a cloud, I'm not going to die. I really haven't done instrument procedures because I haven't fully studied the approaches and departures and how all of that works and timing and counting, and that's on my to-do list, but I want to do that with actual schooling. I don't want to be self-taught doing that. But learning how to hover for $4,000 to $4,500, this was something I was able to teach myself how to hover in. And it directly translated to the real thing, which was big. If it still took me 20 hours to learn how to hover in the real thing, I would say this is a waste. But I was able to hover immediately, which I was extremely pleased with. So that was my purpose of building this setup. Yeah, the name's classified. But yeah, and then I also figured, like, cool, if I'm going to be flying around anyways, once I got good enough to where I wasn't an embarrassment, I started streaming. Because, like, I'm going to be flying these helicopters anyways on the computer. It cost me absolutely nothing. The program that I stream with is free, OBS. Everything that I'm doing this through is free, internet and whatever. So it's like, I might as well stream. Then I can make friends, talk to people. I've met somebody on here, which during my, did we meet? I think we met him still in the US. And I feel horrible because I don't remember his name. If I see him pop up in here, was it Chuck? Anyway, there's a guy that popped in and viewed, and he said, hey, I like what you're doing. He said he has been flying airplanes, fixed wings, since like, what, 1980s or something like that?
But yeah, he's been flying fixed wing since like 1980, so for like 25, 30 years. And one day he was like, you know what? I want to fly helicopters also. So he ended up building a simulator like mine, but this was back when like Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. And he taught himself how, yeah, Chuck NWA, that's it. And he taught himself how to fly helicopters on the simulator, and he said it was a huge help. And this was before I even started my lesson. So it felt really, really good to me to know that somebody else had the same thought process and everything worked out the way I thought it was going to. So now if I see somebody going to build to do one of these because they want to learn how to fly, I'm all for it. Do it, because it works. As long as you use a smart way of thinking about it, where you're not just like, oh, cool, look at me, I do this, and like, as long as you actually put yourself in the correct thought process for going through the procedures for different reasons, then you're going to be golden. You know, it will be a benefit to you. I don't see a way that this would not be a benefit to you. And even if you just like helicopters, you know, it's something really, really cool to be able to do, you know. Even if you never plan on getting your real license, it's super fun to actually, like, be able to finally put your hands on the collective and the cyclic in your feet, and you figure out how they all work together. Because as you know, it's a dance. It's you move your one hand, the other hands have to move. Yeah, I can just do this or whatever, but as soon as I want to try to do something different, you know, I have to put an input here. When I do input there, I have to put an input here, and that requires this, and there's a million things that are about it. And it's nice to be able to have it click, to have that little feeling mastered of like, okay, cool, my brain understands that when I add collective, I have to counter with the pedals, and that when I counter with the pedals, I need to correct with the cyclic. When I correct with the cyclic, I need to like fine-tune with the collective, and it's just neat having all that kind of work together. Okay, so we're going to go up here, and we're just going to hang over at helicopter parking on the left. This is a steep runway. Actually, we're not going to go to helicopter. We're going to go all the way up to the top, because that's where the fuel would be. Because that would be helicopter parking right there. So technically there would be a fuel truck or something, I would assume. We're still at 9,500 feet. We'll pop her down here in spot number 4. Ah! Jeez, dude, I'm literally flying a helicopter right here. Go! Get out of here, you moron. Absolute fucking dodo. Don't aim towards me! Go away! What are you doing? Okay, I'm going over here, idiot. But yeah, it's nice, like, even with that, like, my inputs are, I don't want to say drastically different, but I'm having to think of everything a little bit differently here, being at altitude. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some fuel in here real quick, whatever, we're full on the tanks, which means we're heavy. It's going to be interesting getting out of here. Kathmandu, I think is where we should go. I believe that is this right here. As arrival. Cool, so I'd be going into runway 2 there. Will this line get me out of the mountains okay, or do I need to go south through the valley? Oof. 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 Oh. Actually, I think I'm just going to set up a direct 2, and we'll deal with direct 2. So basically we're going to go the same way. Now we're looking here. We are 73 miles, so consider us a little less than an hour away. Yeah, planes need enough fuel to arrive and deploy. Or what, coming here to this airport? There's no fuel here? Well, I told them to have fuel because we were doing a summit attempt, so
Generator on. I'm having a generator issue, guys. Reset. Okay, cool. Well, let's see what's going on. Fuel pump, we can turn that off. What could be going on? Everything's good here, here, here. Let's shut down real quick. Let's see if we can figure this out. It's weird that I have a generator light on. Did they change anything on the startup list or whatever? Because I didn't have that earlier. Yeah, I know. You horn can go away. Let's see. Blah blah. Generator off. I'm okay with that. Fuel off. I'm going to do 2 to slow the blades down quicker. It's frowned upon, but I'm going to add collective to just keep myself on the ground. Because for some reason this thing has a hard time slowing down. It's trying to pick up. I'm not letting it. Okay, we're full collective there. Have we ever had a legit malfunction pop up? Okay, cool. We can add that now. I'm okay with that being there. Anti-collision. Pitot can go off. Generator reset you again. Okay, let's see. Shift C. Nothing weird out here. We took all that stuff off. That was good. I don't think there's any way to check a stator. All that was good. Ports were good. No, I don't want you open. You can close. Nothing to check there. Nothing on the front drive. Okay. Shift C. Blade socks, transparent panels, windshield wipers. That's all good. That's all good. Pitot tube, got that. Front door, rear door, cargo door. Checked all that. It's got such a long list. Fuel tank. Cowling. Static port open. ELT, rear cargo, oil drain. That doesn't matter because we can't check any of that. Why did I get a generator light? I need an A and P here, stat. Okay, cool, that's good. Pre-flight inspection, internal cabin, fire extinguisher, fusers, and breakers. Okay, those all seem to be good. Okay, this is gonna get awkward. Spare Generator reset. That's in. Battery, all the fuses are good. Okay, so those look fine. Front door, that's good. Turnaround check. All the cowlings were closed. Yep. Have oil. Loads and doors before starting engine. Seat. Pedals. Rotor brake released. Fuel shut off. Forward. Yep. Twist grip. Idle. Hydraulic switch on. Engine starting selector off. Yep. Battery on. Instrument lighting as required. Not needed. Intercom on. GPS on. Except we don't really need that, you know. Electric mirror. Warning light test. That doesn't work. Thanks for that. So warning light test. Where's the button for that? Okay, cool. All those lights are on. Okay. Test fire. Yep, top right up there turned on. Accumulator test. Press for 2 seconds. Okay. Caution warning panel. Yep. Multifunction display. Check the page. Nothing there on display. Epic Aviation, dude. See ya. Thanks for being here. Chair bus. Pedals. Left pedal. 270 forward. Cyclic. Collective friction. Heating off. Cool. Don't see what would be giving me an issue. Check governor off. Okay, so fuel pump on, anti-collision lights on, cyclic hand on, engine start selector on, engine parameters, N1 must increase, TO2 must remain below its limits, rotor must turn at N1 below or equal to 25, cool, we're below 25, rotors are moving, TOT is staying low. Weight superior or equal to 67%. Okay, N167, sick, generator can click on. Caution warning panel. Is it just the cold? Fuel pump. Avionics. Okay. I honestly think it may be a temperature thing.
Selective accumulator. Why do I have that? Weird. What do you say? Okay, dude. Adios. See ya. Thank you for being here. Sorry, it's kind of a boring ending here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to fly to Kathmandu. Hopefully we lower some altitude and it gives us something good. I'll be watching. Yeah, generators give me 0 amps. I honestly think I have a generator problem somehow. Don't know how. But, yeah, so actually I think we're just going to end it here. I don't want to have to restart. But, yeah, dude, thanks for being here. Everybody, thank you for watching. Kind of a weird ending, but we did do our summit attempt at Mount Everest. So now we're here at Lukla. Next time we're going to get over to Kathmandu. And maybe over this way. And then we're going to try to jump as much of India as possible. I think it's going to be like a 3-hour flight from like here to here. Or something like that. We'll look. We'll make it a thing. Valeska, thank you for being here. Yeah, there's going to be no replay. We're finishing here. Yeah, next time we're going to come out here. And what you can watch the replay. I'm going to go look at Columbus real quick just to see what it shows. Actually, I want to put it here. It says departure, flight conditions, custom, live weather, clear, time of day, daytime, start. I just want to see what their building looks like real quick. If you see it, you see it. If not, you'll see it on the replay, and I'll tell you to check it out here in a bit. But you'll have to let me know how accurate this is. Man, I thought I had told it to start over on the runway. Oh well. Oh, dang it. Wrong button. So that goes down. We'll speed start it, not think twice. Blades are moving. Sick. Love that. Another gate was just added. Okay, cool. So we're going to get off the ground here in just a second. I'll do a quick circle, then we'll pop out on Marketplace and see if it shows anything for Columbus. Speed running this. Give me pitch, give me pitch, give me pitch, give me pitch. Look at it over torquing right there. Idiot. Treating this helicopter like my hoe. Okay, cool. So this is current. Looks like normal, just hangars over there. All that rough flying and no warm-up procedure, and I didn't get a single light on it. It flying around a little mountain or whatever it wants to give me pain. Cool, hard landing. Let's go look at Marketplace real quick and see what it says, and then I'll let you go. Then you can run away. Let's see, Marketplace. What did I click? What? I click go. You see our Q McClellan, okay. Columbus, Ohio, Atlanta region trees, Columbus, Ohio dream. So yeah, nothing on the base level, but sounds like doesn't even have a fire station. Yeah, sounds like the aftermarket people that use the third party, they have an update for it, so that'd be the people to go with then. Okay, anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. Next time, we'll have a H-125 that works right, and we'll be flying from here all the way to like here. Then let's see, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, 6 day, 7 day, 8 day, 9 day. Not too bad. I'd say 2 weeks and we could be in Europe or less. 2 weeks worth of episodes, not in 2 weeks worth of time. I don't think I'm going to fly 14 flights between now and then. But anyways, guys, thank you for being here. It was fun as always. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.